I want to ask you something before we get into this video. If someone told you that you could get hired at a commercial HVAC company before you even finish trade school, would you believe them? Because 2 months into UTI, I made it happen. 2 months, not 6, not after graduation, 2 months in. I'm going to tell you exactly how that happened, but I'm also going to tell you everything else. The parts that were hard, the parts that surprised me, and the honest truth about UTI that you're not going to find on their website. 6 months in, here's everything. Before we get into it, if you're somebody who's thinking about getting into HVAC, thinking about trade school, or you're early in your journey and looking for someone documenting this thing in real time, hit that subscribe button. I'm going to keep putting out the honest version of this journey. No highlight reel, just what's actually happening. All right, let's get into it. Real quick, for anyone who hasn't seen my first video about UTI, I started from zero, no background in HVAC, no connections in the trade, no experience whatsoever. I enrolled at UTI and made a video about my first month. That video was day one. This video is a 6-month update, and a lot has changed. Okay, so let me spend real time about UTI because this is what I get asked about the most. Is it worth it? Should I go? What's it actually like? And I want to give you the real answer, not the version from the brochure. Here's where I land. Depends. And I know that's not the clean answer people want, but it's the truth. If you go in serious, ready to work, ready to actually learn, I've had a genuinely good experience so far. If you go in just going through the motions, you're going to waste your money and your time. The school can't want it more than you do. Let me break down what it's actually like so you can make your own call. The pace is fast. This is not your 4-year college where you ease in over a semester. The modules stack on each other, and if you mentally check out for a week, you will absolutely feel it. You have to stay locked in from day one. You're not just reading textbooks, you're on the actual equipment, working through real scenarios. That's where things start clicking in a way they don't when you're just looking at a diagram on a screen. That part, I can't knock it. The classroom side is more of a mixed bag. Some of it is dry, I'll be honest. There are modules where the material doesn't fully connect until you get in front of the equipment. You just have to trust the process and push through the parts that feel slow. The instructors, and this matters a lot, the instructors I've had actually know what they're talking about. These aren't people reading from a curriculum. They've been in the field. They have real stories and real experience. When you tap into that, when you ask questions beyond what's in the module, that's where some of the best learning happens. Utilize them. Don't just show up and go through the material and leave. Now, when it comes to other students, you're going to get a mix. Some people are serious about their education and learning. Some people don't really know why they're there. Just stay focused on why you are there. Don't let someone else's lack of direction pull you off your path. Let me talk about something that I think is really important, and I don't hear enough people say this. UTI is not going to hand you a job. I want to be real clear about that. Nobody is going to walk up to you after graduating and say, here's your offer letter. It doesn't work like that. What UTI gives you is the environment, the resources, and the tools. But going out there and actually landing something, that part is on you. And once I understood that, everything shifted for me. I stopped waiting for something to happen and I started making things happen. So let me break down what actually works, because there are resources available to you while you're still in school that most students are not taking advantage of. The first one is resume building. UTI has career services and they will help you build your resume. A lot of people come into this trade from different backgrounds and don't know how to put together a resume that speaks to what an HVAC employer actually wants to see. Go in there, sit down with them, and build something that represents you professionally. That resume is your first impression before you ever walk through a door. Job fairs are another one that people sleep on. UTI hosts career events and job fairs where employers literally come to you. They're walking into that building looking for people to hire. All you have to do is show up prepared, dress professionally, and ready to have a real conversation. I've seen people treat those events casually, just wandering around, not really engaging. Don't be that person. Treat every conversation at a job fair like it's an interview, because in a lot of cases, it is. Now, here's one thing I think matters the most, and this changed my entire experience at UTI. Your instructors. Pay attention to this because I figured something out pretty early. Every instructor is really good at something specific. They each have their own background, their own specialty, their own area where their knowledge goes deep. One might have the years of commercial experience, another might know the refrigeration inside and out, another might be a residential expert. They're not all the same, and once you figure out what each one is really strong in, you have to tap into that. Don't just sit in class and absorb what's in the module and leave. Stay after, ask questions beyond the curriculum, tell them what you're working toward, and ask them what they would do if they were in your position. These instructors have been in the field, they have contacts, they know people, they have seen some of the students come through and go on to do really well. They know exactly what separates the one who makes it from the ones who don't. I've had conversations with instructors at their class that taught me more than some modules did. Not because the modules aren't valuable, they are, because when you get an experienced technician talking freely about what they've actually seen and done in the field, that's a level of knowledge you can't get from a textbook. And here's another thing people don't think about. networking, not just with your instructors, but with your classmates too. The people sitting next to you in that classroom are going to be in the same industry. Some of them are going to move up fast. Some of them are already connected. Pay attention to who is serious, build genuine relationships, exchange contact information. The trades are a smaller world than people think, and who you know matters just as much as what you know. Talk to people who are further along than you. If there are students in later modules, ask them questions, ask them what they wish they knew earlier, ask them how they found their opportunity. People who are on the path you want to be on are usually willing to share what worked for them. You just have to ask. The bottom line is this: UTI puts resources in front of you. You have to be the one who reaches out and grabs them. Resume help, career services, job fairs, your instructors, your classmates, all of it is available. The students who land jobs while they're still in school are not lucky. They're the ones who treated every resource like it mattered and every conversation like it was an opportunity. That's the version of this experience that actually leads somewhere. So would I recommend UTI? If you're serious and you're going to put in the work, yes. I've had a good experience so far. It's challenging, it's fast, but it's real. The investment is real, the sacrifice is real, but what you're building on the other side is real too. Real quick, if this is hitting you so far, drop a like on this video. It helps more people who are researching this same path find this content. And I'm about to get into the part that I think is the most important: how I actually got hired 2 months in and what the real struggles have been. 2 months into trade school, I got hired at a commercial HVAC company. And when I tell people that, the first question is always how. So let me walk you through it. I wasn't waiting around. That's the biggest thing. I wasn't sitting there thinking I'll look for work after I graduate. I was putting myself out there while I was still learning, and something clicked. Here's what I want you to understand though. I did not feel ready. I want to be clear about that. I got the opportunity before I felt like I knew enough. You never feel fully ready. At some point, you just have to move anyway and figure it out as you go. Getting hired that early meant being thrown into real work while I was still in school. The gap between what they teach you in the classroom and what you actually encounter on the job, the gap is real. You just have to be okay with not knowing everything. Nobody expects an apprentice to have all the answers. What they do expect is that you show up, you pay attention, and you're not afraid to ask. I'm not gonna sit here and act like the last 6 months have been smooth, because they haven't. And I think it's important to say that out loud, because most of what you see online about getting into the trades is a highlight reel. Balancing school and a real job is hard. You're mentally on for long hours. You come home tired in a way you haven't been tired before. It's not just physical, it's mental. You're absorbing information all day and then expect to perform on a job site. Some weeks are genuinely tough. There were moments where I questioned everything, where I'm sitting there like, am I actually cut out for this? Is this going to work out the way I planned? I think anybody who tells you they have never had a moment of doubt in a major life change is not being honest with you. What got me through those moments was coming back to why I started. Not in a motivational quote kind of way. I mean literally sitting there and reminding yourself, this is the path I chose. The hard part is temporary. What I'm building is not temporary. Financially, the early stretch is an adjustment. You're not making what you're going to make. You have to be able to sit in that gap between where you are right now and where you're headed. That requires patience. Some people can't do it and they tap out. I understood going in that it was a short-term sacrifice for the long-term gain. That mindset is what keeps you going when the money doesn't reflect where you want to be yet. Let's talk about the money, because it always comes up and I want to address it directly. When you start as an apprentice, you're at the beginning of the pay scale, not the top. That requires an honest conversation with yourself before you even make this move. Can you handle the adjustment period? Can you live with where you're starting while you build toward where you're going? Here's why I'm okay with it. I can see the ceiling from where I'm standing. Working alongside people who have been in commercial HVAC for years, I can see exactly where this goes. The earning potential in this trade is real. I'm watching it firsthand every day. That's the motivation you can't manufacture. So when people ask me if it's worth it financially, the starting point is an adjustment, yes. The long-term trajectory is exactly why I'm here. 6 months in, here's where I'm at mentally. I'm still learning every single day. There's still things on job sites I haven't seen before, still concepts I'm working through, still moments where I realize how much more is ahead of me. But I also feel something I didn't feel before I started this. I feel like I'm building something real. Every day I show up, I'm adding a layer. The version of me 6 months from now, I'm going to look back at where I am today the same way I'm looking back at day one right now. That's what progress is supposed to feel like. I started from zero, no experience, no connections, no backgrounds in this trade. 6 months later, I'm working commercial HVAC while finishing school. I don't have it all figured out, but I'm on the path and I'm not stopping. If you made it to the end of this video, I want to say something directly to you. If you're sitting there thinking about getting into HVAC or any trade and you're not sure if you're ready or if it's worth it or if you can actually do it, I just want you to know that I was exactly where you are. I had the same questions, I had the same doubts. The hardest part is just starting. After that, you figure it out one day at a time. If you want to follow this journey, every win, every struggle, every step forward, hit that subscribe button. I'm documenting everything honestly, no filter, just the real version of what it looks like to build a career in this trade from the ground up. Drop a comment below and tell me where you're at. Are you thinking about HVAC, already in the trade, or just figuring out your next move? I read every single comment and respond. Let's build this community together. I'll see you in the next one.